Mariana Trench, with a depth of nearly 11 kilometers, is the deepest known point on our planet. Since its discovery, this trench has revealed countless new species of animals and plants, expanding our understanding of life in the deep ocean. Over the years, many people have shared different theories and stories about it. Some claim that the Megalodon, a massive prehistoric predator thought to be extinct, still lives in its depths. Others believe the trench once hosted an ancient civilization, while a certain group even argues that it is actually the lost city of Atlantis itself. However, if you've watched our previous videos about Atlantis, you probably already know the full story behind that legend. Anyway, today we're going on a journey to the deepest region of our planet, the Mariana Trench. But before we dive in, if you'd like to support me, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and share your new video ideas in the comments below. Now, if you're ready, let's dive into the depths of the Pacific Ocean. The Mariana Trench is the deepest part of the world's oceans, located in the western Pacific Ocean to the east of the Mariana Islands. It measures a depth of about 10,984 meters, 36,037 feet, and was formed by a geological process known as subduction. In this region, the Pacific Plate is slowly moving beneath the Mariana Plate, and as the denser Pacific Plate sinks deeper into the asthenosphere, it creates an enormous trench on the ocean floor. This structural process has continued for millions of years, eventually forming one of the most mysterious and iconic geological features on Earth, the Mariana Trench. The deepest point of the trench is known as the Challenger Deep, named not only for the extreme pressure found there, where even modern human technology can barely survive, but also after the HMS Challenger expedition that first discovered it in 1875. Interestingly, the naming is circular. The expedition inspired the name of the trench's deepest point, and the trench itself inspired the expedition's title, both representing a daring mission into one of Earth's most hostile regions. The pressure at the bottom of the trench is about 1,100 times greater than at sea level. That's around 110 million pascals per square meter. You probably remember the Ocean Gate tragedy that occurred on June 18, 2023. The Titan submersible, operated by Ocean Gate, was made from materials that were not designed to withstand high pressures. While the craft initially performed well, it eventually collapsed under immense pressure, imploding instantly on that fateful day. Now imagine this: the pressure at the Mariana Trench's deepest point is many times greater than that of the region where the Ocean Gate tragedy took place. That's why any vehicle attempting to reach such depths must be specially engineered, with no compromises in material strength or design. Otherwise, anyone attempting to descend could face the same fate. Engineers are well aware that ordinary submarines, even military-grade ones capable of great maneuverability and speed, cannot survive such crushing pressures. For this reason, vehicles designed for these depths are not called submarines at all, but rather deep-sea submersibles, engineered specifically to explore the Hadal Zone, where normal technology would simply cease to function. The temperature inside the Mariana Trench varies between 1 to 4 degrees Celsius. This low temperature is caused by the complete absence of sunlight and the density of the deep ocean water. Because of these factors, the temperature in this region remains remarkably stable over time. As we said before, sunlight cannot penetrate these depths, meaning that no photosynthetic life forms can exist here. However, the few plants and organisms discovered in the trench were found at higher, less extreme zones. Even though no light reaches these depths, the trench still hosts a surprising amount of life. Microorganisms known as extremophiles can thrive under these extreme conditions of immense pressure, low temperature, and total darkness. They obtain their energy through chemoautotrophy, meaning they rely on the oxidation or reduction of surrounding chemical compounds to produce energy. This is incredibly important because it shows that life doesn't necessarily need sunlight or oxygen to exist. As you know, astronomers and scientists searching for life beyond Earth usually focus on the presence of oxygen and liquid water. But after discovering these microorganisms, researchers began broadening their search criteria, realizing that life could emerge under completely different conditions. In fact, by studying these microbes, scientists suggest that similar life forms might exist in the subsurface oceans of Jupiter's moon, Europa, or Saturn's moon Enceladus. Both moons are believed to have liquid water beneath their icy crusts, potentially warmed by tidal and geothermal energy. much like the deep-sea environments on Earth. And by the way, I'll be preparing a detailed documentary about these icy moons soon. So make sure to turn on notifications to catch that video when it drops. Anyway, for all these reasons, the Mariana Trench isn't just geologically significant. It also serves as a critical natural laboratory for astrobiological research, offering valuable insights into how life might exist elsewhere in the universe. But beyond the microorganisms, scientists have also discovered hydrothermal vents in the depths of the trench. These vents form when geothermally heated, mineral-rich water is expelled through cracks in the ocean floor. Hydrothermal systems prove that biological life can persist even in completely isolated environments, without sunlight or surface-level heat. These vents provide chemical energy sources not only for microorganisms, but in some cases even for multicellular organisms. Most importantly, they hold crucial clues about the origins of life on Earth. You see, since our planet first began forming, hydrothermal activity and subsurface volcanic processes have been among the few constants in Earth's evolution. That's why studying these vents is so essential. They may represent the very same conditions where life first began billions of years ago. The discovery and exploration of the Mariana Trench itself also mark a major milestone in human engineering. In the 1960s, when the entire world's attention was focused on the Cold War space race between the US and the Soviet Union, Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh descended into the trench aboard a submersible called Trieste. For the first time in history, these two pioneers reached a depth of 10,916 meters, descending all the way to the Challenger Deep. Then, in 2012, famed filmmaker James Cameron, known for Titanic, Avatar, and Terminator, made the second manned descent to this extreme depth aboard his specially designed submersible, Deep Sea Challenger. To put this into perspective, during the 1960s, humankind was already sending astronauts into space and even to the moon. Between those early missions and the 2000s, hundreds of human spaceflights had been carried out. Yet only one other manned mission ventured to the bottom of the Mariana Trench in that same period. That tells you how technically challenging and dangerous this descent truly is. It's also a reflection of how little public interest the deep ocean receives compared to space exploration. Anyway, when James Cameron finally reached the bottom, he observed that the trench floor was covered with a fine, soft layer of sediment, and he confirmed the presence of microscopic life forms. Now, here's my personal take on this. Even though I'm absolutely fascinated by space, the universe, and science, I honestly don't know if I'd have the courage to descend alone into such a deep, dark place. If one day, thanks to this YouTube channel, I were ever invited on a space trip, I'd accept it without hesitation, even if I had to go alone. But when it comes to the ocean, something about those dark depths gives me chills. It feels as if there's something unknown down there, something we don't yet understand. I'd really love to hear what you think about this too, because many people I know say the same thing, that they could never go down there alone. So I think James Cameron deserves a special kind of respect for what he did. Let's get back to our trench. Geologically speaking, the Mariana Trench also plays a crucial role in Earth's carbon cycle. Especially in subduction zones, carbonate rocks from the ocean floor are transported into the mantle, where they undergo chemical transformations under extreme pressure and temperature. This process contributes to the long-term regulation of carbon levels in the atmosphere. Therefore, the trench has an indirect yet significant effect on maintaining the global carbon cycle and climate balance. Many people underestimate this indirect impact, but as we witness the changing natural events and the ongoing destruction of our planet, we begin to understand just how important even such subtle effects truly are. As you know, in many parts of the world, the seasons are no longer as active or as balanced as they used to be. Another fascinating aspect of this region involves acoustic observations. Deep-sea microphones called hydrophones have recorded strange sounds in the Mariana Trench that exist at frequencies beyond the range of human hearing. Most of these sounds are thought to originate from tectonic movements, gas emissions, or underwater volcanic activity. However, some of these frequencies remain unexplained and mysterious. Because of this, people have come up with wild theories suggesting the existence of secret military bases, alien civilizations, or even legendary places like Atlantis hidden down there. Now, let's talk about Megalodon. At the beginning, I mentioned that some people believe Megalodon might still live somewhere within the trench. But does this idea have any scientific basis or evidence? First, for those who may not know, Megalodon was a gigantic prehistoric shark that lived between 23 and 3.6 million years ago, reaching lengths of over 20 meters. It was the ultimate apex predator of its time, dominating the oceans, feared by every other creature. However, Megalodon eventually went extinct due to climate changes and the lack of sufficient food sources as ocean ecosystems shifted. The theory that Megalodon still exists in the Mariana Trench has no scientific support or peer-reviewed research behind it. In fact, this idea mostly comes from people who also promote other extraordinary or impossible theories, similar to those found in UFO or conspiracy circles. Even if such a massive predator somehow survived down there, it wouldn't be surprising that we haven't discovered it yet because, as we know, human expeditions into the trench are extremely rare. However, scientific evidence suggests that Megalodon's survival is extremely unlikely. Why? Because Megalodon preferred warm, shallow waters, while the Mariana Trench is freezing cold and almost entirely dark. Additionally, the deep ocean doesn't have enough of a food chain to support a predator of that size. A creature as massive as Megalodon would need enormous amounts of food to survive, and lack of prey was already one of the main reasons for its extinction. If such a giant still existed there, we would have found biological traces by now, like DNA remains, sonar reflections, or the remains of large prey. For all these reasons, the likelihood of Megalodon still living in the Mariana Trench is extremely low. So, that's it, my friends. Even though the Mariana Trench doesn't currently offer us many mysteries beyond its depth, I believe it hasn't received nearly enough attention or value. If we invested in deep-sea research as much as we do in space exploration, and with a similar budget, I'm sure this region would open the doors to mysteries beyond our imagination. According to scientists, only about 20% of our oceans have been explored. When you think about it, we're rushing to leave Earth and explore the universe. Even though we still don't fully understand our own planet, its hidden wonders, secrets, and mysteries. Perhaps in the unexplored parts of our oceans, there are still massive predators we've never seen, or ancient clues that could teach us about the early stages of our planet's history. Personally, I believe that someday, when the right people turn their eyes toward these regions, we'll make incredible new discoveries. Maybe, just maybe, the answers we're searching for in space are actually right here on our own planet. That's all from me for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to support my work, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video so it can reach more people, and share your thoughts in the comments both about this topic and ideas for future videos. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and stay curious. Goodbye.